Hey everyone, your resident Final Fantasy VII Remake stan here, entering the lore world once again. I'm really excited to talk about Intermission and of course a little bit about Intergrade with you guys. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Not quite yet, I gotta let you guys know that there's gonna be spoilers ahead. It's a 5 to 6 hour campaign. Possibly shorter if you're pretty fast with the game and you know the combat system and all that. So just a fair warning, it's pretty quick and it takes place pretty much directly after the events of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So yeah, kind of have to spoil a couple of things, you feel me? Anyways, let's get straight into it. Firstly, I want to talk about how the PS5 did this game wonders. It looks so gorgeous, man. Textures are improved, the lighting feels a lot more natural, especially in the factory environments like the Shinra locations. It gives this whole new feel to your world around you, and even the skyboxes and lighting and all that. Like, again, it just looks so much better than the PS4 version. Finally removing that annoying kind of blur effect that was plaguing the PS4 Unreal Engine 4 kind of era. It just looks really clean and sharp, and of course 60 FPS is really strong too. Oh, character models have a pretty good look to them now. Like, their hair strands and things like that are just much more natural and improved. It's pretty impressive stuff that they've jumped from under a year. It's really cool. Oh, and before I forget to mention, this OST is the funkiest, grooviest soundtrack I've ever heard in my life, man. They knocked it out of the park with the remixes of themes, just how extremely bombastic and fun everything is. It's just... it's so good, man. The music's incredible. I can't even speak. You have to listen to it. You just have to listen to it. Just go listen to this OST, dog. It is insane. Gameplay is pretty much more of the same, right? It's FF7R, but with two big additions. The first of which is clearly being Yuffie, our new character. Her shuriken can lob, and you have auto DPS that can wear and tear down enemies, and when you're ready, you can retrieve it for a quick dash in for some air-to-air combos. It's really cool, and it feels natural for once too. Yuffie's air combat looks and feels just effortless. They remove a ton of that clunky movement that, say, Cloud and Tifa had during mid-air fights, so now when you have to get up close and personal with drone-like enemies or flying types, it feels a lot better, which is something that I know for a fact is going to be used in Remake 2, so I kind of already see what they're getting into in terms of where the gameplay is going to go when the inevitable sequel comes out. She can call upon elemental materia as well if you want to make her ranged attacks exploit any elemental weakness that you have scanned, and you can work around without having to go through too many materia menus to pick and choose which lightning or fire or whatever magic you want to bring into a fight. I think that's a really good way of getting around it, since in this game you only have 2 members in your party at all times, and only one of which is completely fully playable, that of which being Yuffie. The second cool mechanic is the synchronized system. With our partner Sun, we can sync together various attacks and abilities that result in massive damage and some crazy aerial rave stagger combos. The animations they have fighting together are splendid. Yuffie jumping off of Sun's staff, them teaming up for a spinning around wind attack. It's just really great. And the length Sun goes to protect Yuffie both in-game and in battle is really wholesome, even sacrificing himself and reviving you if you ever go down. All the combat animations and quiet time animations are also extremely clean. Yuffie is such a treat to watch on screen, whether she is wall running, climbing expressively, the way she's throwing her star at boxes, and yes, even sitting on a bench, all scream a 10 out of 10 personality, and it's really great stuff. As for the story, it's surprisingly really fun and compact, leaving a ton of breadcrumbs for the sequel while also fulfilling our needs for Yuffie's backstory in the universe that is Final Fantasy VII Remake. As per usual, the character dialogue and energy Yuffie and the crew bring is really top notch. Everyone bounces off each other effortlessly. Tons of jokes and heartfelt moments pieced together by a memorable story that sets up for the tragedy that is going to be Yuffie's character. To set the scene, Yuffie lands in Midgar and absolutely despises it, hates the smell, doesn't like the dirty environment, etc. All the standard hallmarks of an ugly big city. But as she meets more people like Sun, who's another ninja like herself, and the Avalanche groups, she learns that maybe the world isn't so black and white. Maybe it isn't Midgar bad and Wutai good. It might possibly be a bit deeper than all of that, something that I'm sure the game will further explore in FF7R2. her personality is also a humongous step up from the typical I will be a ninja thief, an annoying character that's gonna rob you of your items like she was as a secret character, or I guess more of an unlockable party member in Final Fantasy VII Original. So kudos to the writing team and everyone behind that. Like, for once, I actually genuinely care about Yuffie, and I really understand and sympathize with the struggles and things she's going through in this game, and she definitely still has her teenage-like demeanor, but the way it's handled in this game is just a lot better. Like, yeah, she's a teenager, but she's actually seen stuff, and it feels like she's actually going through things and trying to work through it and make, ends meet and be a really upstanding person, rather than just, I'm a thief and I got my issues and I'm gonna just take it out on everyone around me in the party, essentially, which is kind of how I felt in the original game. Again, just more contextualization for the character and improving upon what is already there, like keeping the core personality of the character and like what's there with Yuffie, but improving upon it and kind of making it for a new age, which is just really well handled. So, we explored the open world for a little bit. We get some more side quest mini games, a whole MOBA RTS Fort Condor thing. It's pretty sweet, admittedly. It does add quite a bit of length to the campaign if you want to go for all those Fort Condor side quests, so I really recommend you do. But after we do some side stuff in Midgard, we get to the meat of the plot, which is pulling up to Shinra HQ to grab a rumored ultimate materia, and with no thanks to Scarlet, it leads them directly into the deep ground. Yeah, they're going there. Some straight up Dirge of Cerberus Crisis Core nonsense is about to happen. I was definitely worried when I learned more about this part. I knew they were going to bring it up because FF7 Remake 1 talked about it, and I think you even fight in that area. And I know they talk about it in the base FF7 original a little bit, but if you guys know the lore and how convoluted it gets, the deep ground is usually some pretty bad things go down and some trouble usually tends to happen. But however, Yuffie and Sun Sun, they share their heart to hearts. They talk with each other a little bit. We learn about how Sun Sun's sister protected him from dying against one of Scarlet's war machines. And yeah, tears were shed during that flashback. We also work our way down to fight Shinra, and then it actually starts. Weiss is back, Nero is back, the deep ground experiments are confirmed for FF7R, but how could this all be? I mean, Hojo isn't technically really dead or dying at this point. It's taking place right before the plate drops on Sector 7, so you can imagine it was a bit confusing trying to piece together what they're trying to do with this plot and how well they'll even further expand upon it in the sequel. But from what I've gathered, it seems like Weiss is in the underground because they're trying to digitally replicate him, which is something they try to do similar by injecting Hojo's DNA or whatever the heck in him in Dirge of Cerberus. So thankfully, hopefully, that's getting a bit retconned and rewritten for something that makes a bunch more sense. And from the way that he talks about it, my theory might be absolutely correct. It doesn't seem like anything's going well. Well, Nero, his brother, is a beast that's sent out to hunt Yuffie and Sun Sun, and as you know, he has this dark energy that could suck the soul and life out of people with ease. And as per usual, we get one awesome epic final boss between Yuffie, Sun Sun, and Nero. Hands are thrown, tons of team attacks are used, but ultimately, Team Ninja comes out on top, and as they start to make their escape from Nero's death grip, a tendril creeps in fast and kills Sun Sun as he pushes Yuffie out of the way, leaving him with nothing but thoughts of how similar Yuffie was to his own sister. Sun Sun's death is something we definitely saw coming from a mile away. I mean, let's just keep it real. He's not in any of the Final Fantasy VII lore beforehand, and with the way the story handles it in the flashbacks, it's kind of obvious what's coming next. But because of those similarities between him and his sister and the flashback that he has as he's literally holding his sister in his arms like one last time as he's kind of passing away, it's all this really, really strong similarities between not just Yuffie and his sister, but also Sun Sun showing what a hero he was. It does get the homie a little bit choked up, I won't lie. And the pre-rendered cutscene of Yuffie running out of Shinra Core and just crying like, why didn't anyone help, and just so upset that she couldn't do anything. And then right as she reaches the edge of the plate, she sees it drop onto Sector 7 and just breaks down. Gosh, man, it was the perfect setup to explain the backstory we're going to get with FF7R2 of Yuffie's tragic life. All she knows is pain and loss and suffering. Her father's jailed away. Her country's still at war with Shinra. Wu Tai is getting bodied essentially. And she really doesn't have many people to turn to. She's like a lonely ninja in the midst of all this chaos. And despite all of that, she rides this chocobo with a huge old smile on her face and realizes that due to Sun Sun's help, she learns that she can't do this on her own. She has to look for party members to help her take down the corporation that's ruining pretty much everyone's lives, which is obviously going to lead us to Cloud and his crew. Roll the credits. Well, overall, that was a pretty fun experience. I did enjoy the game quite a bit. Oh my gosh, Cloud and his crew are here. Wholesome character moments, and Barrett being as leadery as he could be, and then it gets sad, and I'm crying again, and it's just so good, man. It's just so great to see them interact. And all right, just when I thought it was over, we get one more final scene. I wonder what it could be. Oh, we're doing this, aren't we? Oh, we're actually going there, guys. Zach Fair is alive. In the current timeline at Aerith's church, Zach Fair is here. He's... Oh my gosh, it's confirmed. It was perfect. The DLC did everything I wanted it to do and more. You gave me the 60 FPS Final Fantasy VII. You made Yuffie a much more relatable character and probably going to be my favorite of the bunch as the game comes to its end, and removed a lot of her annoying elements from the previous game. You gave us just a taste of Cloud and the crew and kind of lead into what's going to happen in the future with them. And on top of that, they didn't have to do it, but they did. They gave us the confirmation of Zack being in the current timeline. This is absolutely insane, and once again, another banger from Square Enix. What does this mean for the future of FF7R? Well, I think it's very obvious. It's all but confirmed now. The game isn't a remake. It is a full-on reboot / sequel of every single thing that happened in the Final Fantasy VII mythos, retcon, fixed up, who knows what it's going to be, and starting a new generation of FF7 players and fans to take them on a ride that's full of who knows what's going to happen. I really liked this DLC pack. I am very excited for the future of FF7R, and I hopefully don't get disappointed. Well, the only downside of this all is PS4 players can't really enjoy it. It's a PS5 exclusive title, which I find a little strange, but I guess if Sony's paying the big bucks, it pans out. It's weird. I guess Sony just needs something for PS5 exclusivity. It beats me. Regardless, thank you all so much for watching, and I really cannot wait to talk more and delve in depth into the FF7R lore, as there's going to be so much to unpack on my replays as I'm going to do with this game, and I'm just super excited to talk about it with you guys as we, go down the pipeline. Thank you all again so much for watching. I wish you all the best day. If you enjoyed this video, maybe throw a like or comment or subscribe down my way. Please help out the algorithm and keep me in the loop. It really does mean a lot. And I will be making more fighting game content and reviews, of course, in the future. So, yeah, hope you guys all have a great day. Make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.